This week's episode of the Indian Dots podcast, we discuss the following: how Nav's personal story and humble beginnings took him to the place of where the washing machine project is currently thriving, how he moved out the corporate world and took a leap of faith that he wouldn't recommend to other people, and his work in Dyson and in India and other countries like Lebanon, and how he made comparisons between his internet connection in West London compared to his internet connection in Lebanon. It's only 2 megabytes faster. If you want to find out more, please follow through and we'll see you there. Cheers. What's up, people? Welcome to this week's episode of the Indian Dots podcast. We are joined by a special guest this week. He is the founder of the Washing Machine Project. The Washing Machine Project is a grassroots social enterprise dedicated to alleviating the burden of hand washing clothes and the consequences this type of labor can have on people's lives. He is also an experienced engineer who has worked at many corporate places such as Dyson and Jaguar Land Rover, and his project has reached national recognition by appearing on the Russell Howard Hour about a month or so ago. I know him as Nav because I went to uni with him, so I'm just going to call him Nav. Nav, how you doing? Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you so much, Indy. Thank you, Jazz, as well, for the invitation. I really appreciate it. Love what you guys are doing on the podcast, and really looking forward to this.
Mate, I am shocked that you messaged me back. Like, honestly, when I saw it on Twitter, I was like, hang on.
Indy doesn't have many friends, and no one messaged him back.
So basically, I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, no way. I don't know if Nav's seen this. So I sent it to him on Facebook Messenger, and I said, yo, have you seen this? Like, it's blowing up really big. Congrats. And he messaged me back straight away, and I was like, oh, you have time? Shit, okay. So I shot my shot, and he said yes. And I was like, damn, I didn't expect that at all, but big thanks to you, man, for agreeing to come on.
Big honor and pleasure, man. This is what the whole podcast is about, man. When we set out, some of the we were like, Indy, when he positioned the purpose of the podcast, we didn't know, man. Like, we were just like,
we didn't know what it was.
We didn't know what it represented. And then we eventually, it was about, okay, how can we share real stories? That's what it's become now. And that wasn't intentional. I'd say now it's very intentional, but it wasn't. And now when we come across stories like yours, this is exactly what it's about. So yes, honored to be with you here today.
I was talking to some mutual friends from university, and they love to hear about the podcast as well. And it's really cool to see how it's organically growing. And you guys are going to go on and do awesome things. And they're really excited to see the journey that you guys go on.
I hope so, man. There's like over 2 million podcasts active in the world. So let's see. I'm trying to make our space. That's exactly it.
Indy, all I'm going to say is your friends that you made university.
Yeah.
Done there, man. Like you, and you're so good with them. This is the thing, Nav. Like, you look at the people who have come on our podcast, Harvey Mandir, and who else we had from your university? A few people. And they're all like doing really, really amazing things, much in the same way you are. I don't know, Indy, you don't talk about your friends at all, man. Like, you had access to all these amazing people. DJ Frenzy, he's not even been on the podcast yet, and he's one of your mates as well.
He thinks I have like this black book of people. I just see them as people. I don't see them as opportunities.
Listen, my university, there was nobody, man. Nobody went on to do anything. Okay, I should have you. I went to University of Birmingham. We were the best Bhangra team in the UK. But outside of that, there was nothing else happening. There was no networking. There was no.
You know what, Nav? I have a bone to pick with you. Right? On every single article, it says the student of University of Bath. And I'm like, no. The student of Queen Mary University of London. That's what it should say, right? But it just doesn't say it anywhere. And it makes me a little bit upset. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. I after my engineering degree, I did a humanitarianism degree. Like only last year I graduated. So Bath have really kind of
took the spotlight.
But where did you learn the engineering, Nav? That's the question.
Yeah. My engineering lecturer LinkedIn messaged me the other day and said, just remember where you're really from.
See, I told you remember, never forget.
It's like, Polina Putt, yaad rakhi mainu.
Queen Mary, the real rags to riches story.
It's amazing. I mean, and my French teacher from year 9 messaged the other day, and she put a post up, and she said I was a very problematic child that was very bright.
Were you actually? So, I didn't think you were that problematic, to be honest.
Yeah, I was a terror. I was a bully. I got suspended.
This is secondary school you're talking about now, yeah?
Yeah, secondary, kind of primary into secondary. I was a very naughty child, kind of very misunderstood. My father passed away when I was very young and was kind of misguided. And as I grew up, I really, I think the role of being responsible, whether it was, being a class prefect or taking on roles in societies, I think being responsible led me to kind of get onto the straight and narrow. But there was a couple of touch and go moments where you could have gone either way, and we all know stories of people that have not had the benefits, the support that I had, good family and stuff to look after me, and good friends.
Wow. Like, again, we always say everybody has a story. And again, when we look at the amazing work you do, you never think, like those two words you just said there, you're a bully. Like I never would have, associated that with you. Is that something you talk about?
No way, man.
Do you talk about it openly or?
Yeah, I've probably done about 25 podcasts, and this is the first time I've ever mentioned that. So that's an
exclusive.
Wow.
Similar to, I don't know if you know Ravi Singh from Khalsa, but
yeah,
he did a program, Seek on the Front Line or something like that on BBC. And I think he had a very similar upbringing where he was a very naughty child and kind of misguided and then kind of.
Ooh, got a
potentially frozen. Ooh.
What I will say, while we wait for Nav to come back, is again, you didn't see that keyword he used there. It was responsibility put me back on the path, right? Something that Jordan Peterson talks about when he talks about the crisis of young men and why they're having such bad, blowouts, mental health crisis, and they just can't function. They're paralyzed, in the world. And he talks, Nav, you back? Oh, he's getting back. He's getting there.
Yeah.
We see a smile.
Go on, Karan.
Yeah. So now we were just saying that the one real powerful word you used there was responsibility, and I'm a big listener of Jordan Peterson, and he talks about men of our age or slightly younger, this generation that can't function in society and having such high levels of mental health. He said the solution, the answer, the Dawai, if it were the medicine, is increasing responsibility. Meaningful responsibility is the only way out, because if you seek just entitlement and you expect things to come to you, it's not going to happen. And I thought it was really, really powerful what you just said there, which was just that it was the increasing responsibility that led you on, to obviously all these things you've done. So yeah, responsibility, you can't undermine how valuable that is, and getting it from a young age, whatever the level of responsibility, just compounds over time. As you get older, you obviously have, higher positions of responsibility, but it's not a given, and you have to want a willingness. You have to have the willingness to see the value of taking on responsibility. That's the thing.
And I think, you don't have to be the product of your environment. West London is pretty tough. We're in a school that was quite challenging to grow up in. The social circle that you had really dictated how you conduct your life. And I think for me, I was a scout when I was a kid, and that really kind of opened up my eyes to the world, and this community purpose and initiative really helped me instilled into me that we have a higher purpose in our lives. There's more to the bubble that we're in.
I agree, man. What I was thinking though, Nav, is like, obviously you must have made a bit of a change to break out of like being a bully and bad habits to make it in engineering, because you must be pretty damn smart to get onto a course like that. So when did you make that kind of switch and change?
Yeah, what was the catalyst? What was the impetus?
So my father was an aerospace engineer, and from a very young age, he'd take me to air shows. I would be obsessed with how things worked and these aircraft and big objects in the sky. I would come back home, take the toolbox out of the shed and just break everything. And I used to make my mom so angry.
Oh man.
You're that guy in it with the peshkas screwdriver. Just
I'd break everything, and my mum would get really angry, and I'd not know how to put things back together again. But this kind of curiosity just kind of led me to aerospace engineering, and it was actually I failed the first year.
Okay.
Did you? I don't know that.
Of my, I actually failed the first year of my engineering degree. Again, it was. Sorry, guys, is it laggy? Should we re-record that?
No, I can hear you fine, man. There's no issues at all.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I failed my first year of the degree, and I came back and I graduated one of the top of the class. And
There we go.
honestly, the reason why is because I surrounded myself with some amazing people, and these are people that I camped in the library with 12 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Yeah, man. Down at uni, it was on our bottom floor of uni. It was like an engineer's corner, and there were always like people sitting on this one table, and they'd all surround each other and just help each other out with like coursework exchanges and just literally doing group projects together on that table. And I was like,
as you're talking about
the table in it,
I'm thinking of I don't know if you guys have seen the film Beautiful Mind. You've seen it, Nav, yeah?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, okay. It's a great film. It's about the mathematician Kevin Nash who won the Nobel Prize, I think in economics or mathematics, one of the two. It's played by Russell Crowe. He's a genius, but he has schizophrenia. But there's a scene in there where basically they're in the library and they're all just in this corner, like drawing on windows, and they're doing all these like complex things. So when you talk about it camping out for 12 hours, that's a scene I've got in my head now, man. You guys just doing it.
Yeah, we'd bring beds, like
beds. Oh my god!
Did you? Where?
Manjilake? Oh my god!
Pillows and blankets to the library, and because
hardcore, man.
Hot property during exam season.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Trying to steal a desk.
I thought medics were bad, man. You guys sleeping in the library. Wow.
Just for real.
It was like the 1st of April, the library would turn 24 hours. That's when you know it's going down. You're like, God, here it goes. This is when it gets dangerous now. It gets serious.
The security would chase us out and empty the desks. It was really fun. God. So yeah, university was really, 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 really cool experience.
This is what I'm saying, Nav. You need to go around and get some editorial changes on all those articles and say Queen Mary University.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. So Nav, when you built your first prototype in 2 days, how did you do it in 2 days? Like, I don't think you understand. A lot of people don't do a lot in 2 days. Some people don't even do their housework in 2 days. So how did you build a whole washing machine prototype in 2 days?
Yeah, I mean, there's that kind of idea that, when you set yourself a deadline that's normally shorter than what you can achieve, then there's a lot you can achieve.
There is a logic behind it. Yeah.
Timeline, right? Like, I think in general. However, I mean, the reason why we only had 2 days is because I and my friend Alex, who worked with me at this global technology company we were invited to Iraq by one of my peers on my master's course, and we got invited on a Friday and to fly on the Monday and Saturday and Sunday to put
Blimey.
Together.
So that was an enforced deadline.
Real pressure, man. Like Iraq as well. Man. You need to deliver, man.
And we took that washing machine that we made over the weekend, and we put our clothes in the washing machine and packed it, plastic wrapped it in
you tried it?
The airport, and we took it onto the plane because we didn't even have checked-in luggage.
Oh my days.
We got a really cheap flight, and it was so dodgy. It looked like a bomb.
Yeah, we make a washing machine and then we put it inside and sit. Yeah. They're like, is that really your story? Yeah, that's what we do. We're here to wash kapde.
Two brown guys turning up at an airport with
No,
some
Alex.
kind of half
They had
suspected.
Alex.
Oh, sorry,
Okay,
Alex.
that's
Alex
why
is a
Alex
saving grace.
Alex
It's a
not
saving grace.
they're like, oh, we believe him. I work for
I don't know.
Alex.
Are you sure he's with you? Are you sure? Are you sure?
And we tested that washing machine with 79 Yazidi refugee families in 5 camps in 5 days. And
Nice.
feedback from the washing machines was great. People wanted it.
Wow,
That was kind of our first big break from one of my peers on the humanitarian course I was doing at the University of not Queen Mary.
Yeah.
I'll never let it go.
That's some real-time feedback, man. 79.
Yeah. And since that was in 2018, and since then we've spoken to about 3,500 families in 17 countries. And every single family we speak to is, for me, it's like a promise to them that will make their lives just a bit better. And
hang on, how many families? 3,500.
Yeah,
have been impacted, which means they have one of your washing machines essentially. And I guess I don't know where you want to take it, but there's two things that are in my mind: is how does it work? So just trying to understand the technicality and very simple of how does it work. And B, what was obviously you did an engineering degree. I want to understand the link between I'm an engineer, I want to help people. Where did you see the problem with washing? Like, where did that come from? I want to understand why you thought, okay, that's the thing I want to help improve.
Well, I'll start with the B point, which is, I graduated. I joined one of the best graduate programs in the world, in the UK. I was working
JLR, wasn't it?
I was working for Dyson.
Dyson, damn. Okay.
And I was working in research, making these really fancy products, 500-pound vacuum cleaners and sorts. And I was there for 3 years, and the whole experience was amazing. Firstly, I was the only Singh in the whole organization at the time. So I learned so much about different cultures. And then product design, problem solving, design iteration, and every day was just a dream. I was in this Charlie and the Chocolate Factory style place where it could come true. To design, and slowly, I realized that essentially every bit of good engineering I'm doing is just making a vacuum cleaner for a rich person around the world. And I wanted to do more. I was trying more and more to help people, whether it was through volunteering activities here, and there wasn't something. It wasn't quite right for me. Every day I'd come home back to London, and I'd say to my mum, I want to do more. I want to help people.
I see. Yeah.
I had this opportunity come up, which was with an organization called Engineers Without Borders UK. And quick fun story about that was I wanted to quit my job in February, and
from Dyson.
Engineers Without Borders from Dyson. And I called Engineers Without Borders UK, and I saw this opportunity. I was like, I want to apply. They said applications open in September, and I left a reminder in my calendar for August, September to apply. Completely forgot about it. Still wanted to quit my job in September.
Blimey.
And this reminder came up saying, hey, apply for this position at Engineers Without Borders UK. So that's what I did. I applied to make cook stoves, chulas, or clay ovens, traditional clay ovens in India, South India.
So that's why you went to South India. Oh, this makes sense now. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I went to make cook stoves for a year and a half in South India. I at the time I begged Dyson to let me back in.
Okay.
But they didn't have a sabbatical offering, so you had to quit your job and
And then maybe within a year after, sorry, you have to take a gap for a year and then come back.
That's what you wanted.
Yeah,
you wanted a sabbatical. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted a sabbatical. I wanted to come back to the same job, and I wanted to, help people, see how it feels, and then come back. But they didn't allow me, and so I had to quit my job. And that's when I moved to South India, and I'm so glad they didn't let me back in.
You're so glad they didn't let you back. Okay, so tell us about this. What was the experience of South India?
It just was so eye-opening. I mean, when I first arrived, I felt like I made the biggest mistake of my life because, 42-degree heat, the monsoon season, thunderstorms,
Jesus, man.
blackouts, no power for days,
Days.
open defecation on the streets.
Oh
my office was a place where you'd go with shorts and flip-flops. And it was really, really humble surroundings. I remember at the time it was Diwali or Bandi Chor Divas, and my family are from Mumbai, so I flew to Mumbai.
Oh, your family from Mumbai? Oh, okay.
I flew to Mumbai to spend time with my Marcy because I was so homesick within the first month. Like, Marcy, I've made the biggest mistake. I want to go back home right now. And my Marcy said, go back, don't worry, it'll be okay. Just keep learning. And see how you feel. And slowly, the experience was just phenomenal. We had ideas on Monday. We would prototype the idea, test it with an auntie on Wednesday, and get real-time feedback by Thursday. By Friday, we'd have a new idea. That kind of iterative living lab learning was just.
But those cycles, those real-time cycles, like in my healthcare. The amount of times we sit around a desk and we hypothesize all this shit about how to improve patient, basically patient comes in, patient goes home, that kind of cycle, or patient's admitted and they get discharged. They're like, how can we improve this? How can we improve this? And they come out with all these things that will take years, like, okay, let's build another hospital, let's build another wing. I was like, okay, look, that's things fine, but what can you do right now, man, with the stuff that you have? And like you said, when you can actually, so we call it quality improvement projects rather than audits. We try and implement things quickly, collect some data, get the feedback and then improve it and just keep doing those reiterations until you've got something that works efficiently and there's productivity and it can be, scaled. And so I like what you said there. You have an idea on Monday and by Friday it's working, man, or, it's in action rather than taking months and months and months. So give us an example of one of those. What was something like that you actually did when you were in South India?
So making cook stoves, big problem is that people have to forage for wood to cook their food. So they go to the forests. And it's not people, it's disproportionately placed on women. And we'll talk more about why this is very frustrating later. So women would spend more and more time in forests and remote areas collecting this fuel, come back, and when they light it, they breathe in all of the smoke. And so
the smoke inhalation injury. Okay,
yeah. So respiratory problems, time and money spent on fuel is the biggest problem. So, a very simple aspect of cooking is, whether your rotis puff up properly.
Yeah.
On the gas thing, you have to put it on gas. You can't do it on an electric. It has to be on gas because you got to puff it up.
Exactly, and people in rural villages are the same. They want their rotis to puff up, and they want their dosas perfectly flat and perfectly crispy. And we made a prototype where there's extra steaming and it was burning too hot, and rotis were burning and they were not puffing, and we knew why that happened, and those kinds of changes in the design.
You tinkered.
Was really interesting. And then, my patila is just too big for this cook stove. And how do you change the aspect ratio of the stove to fit, the 90th percentile of the household that you're trying to enter into?
Were you put there to specifically do that now? Like just make cook stoves? Did you just go there and just see a problem and then make that on the back of it?
No, so specifically to make cook stove,
Right. Okay.
we were tasked to make 1,000 rupee cook stove, which is about £10, and it would have been and it is the cheapest cook stove on the market right now. And
Yeah.
we made thousands of these cook stoves in India, and we distributed right across the world. And you can get them in the UK right now to the practical cook stoves, and they reduced the emissions by 90%, reduced the fuel consumption by 50%. And what that
Nice.
means to the end user is that means it's, you're spending less money, less time, and you can use that time on, more fruitful and productive activities like child support, education, livelihood activities.
Did you get to the point where you got the round roti then? The puffy roti?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that must have been a good day, man. That warm glow of satisfaction, like roti ban you.
I'm telling you, you become the master of making fire. Like the barbecues are just amazing.
Intense.
Yeah.
So you done everything with the cook stove, and then how did you move from there onwards to get to the washing machine project?
So India was a really fascinating place. Where I was staying in this village, everywhere you looked, there was a problem.
Mm.
There'd be days on end with no power, and for you, no lights in, no refrigeration.
Oh, wow.
You needed a pump to pump your water, and that would be no water, so you'd have to use other means to go to the bathroom to wash. You'd have to beg, borrow, and steal water from your neighbors or the well or the lake. And
bartering.
This has a knock-on effect on everyday life. And I saw this firsthand living in this village through my next neighbor. And her name is Divya. And Divya is a 30-something stay-at-home mom. She was married at the age of 16. She spoke perfect English. She has 2 kids. Her husband drives a taxi and is away for 18 hours a day. And she's a stay home, as a lot of women are in this village. She wanted to work, but just didn't have the time because she spent hours and hours and hours a day on unpaid labor. And this isn't a unique case with Divya. If you're a woman in this world, you're spending hours and hours a day on unpaid labor. Who cooks your food? Who takes you to school? Who books your doctor's appointments? Who cleans up after you? It's often enough women, and Divya's not alone. And when you're in a kind of developing country, it gets even worse. When you have to forage for wood or collect water or educate your son in darkness. And so through the friendship with Divya, I saw this problem of hand washing clothes, this back breaking work, the skin irritation.
Okay.
I saw that, and I promised her a manual washing machine, and that's the penny drop moment.
That was inception.
Yeah, that was when I realized, Divya needs this, and Divya's not alone.
What amazing! So you just essentially, it was the power of observation, and you were there long enough. You were properly living within the environment and to able to appreciate these things on a day-to-day basis. That's another thing you remind me of now. Is there's a film with Shah Rukh Khan. I don't know if you've seen it, called Swades. Have you seen it? Yeah, it's kind of resonating with that, what he did in that village when they didn't have electricity, and he set that thing. And so was Divya your first? Was she the first success story, the first client?
Yeah, I mean, she was the kind of person that we spoke to first, and got a lot of feedback from her. And I realized that every lady on the street had their own similar story of having to wake up really, really early, collect water, wash the clothes, and then move on to other activities.
Like collecting wood. What do you say?
They wanted an opportunity. They wanted an alternative. And my time in India came to an end.
Okay.
I was there for a year and a half, and I came back home. I did a master's, and I started the washing machine project. And You know, our mission is simple. We design, manufacture, and distribute low-cost manual washing machines for people like Digger around the world, and it's just been phenomenal. The kind of the space that we're in, and there's a real gap, you know, in helping people in developing countries and innovation.
Yeah, there is for sure. Like there isn't much thought given to people in third world countries or anything like that. It's just like, yeah, they'll figure it out. Like all those Oxfam adverts everyone saw way back in the day, just like basic water. It's kind of drilled into you that they don't even have like water. So we're like, okay, obviously they're not going to have a washing machine. They're expensive, man. So imagine how they must clean clothes. It must be very manual. Take
Like
it to the
you see
local
the
river.
bucket and you do the whole
Yeah, the bucket shit, man. Scrub it, slap it on the sides. Like that's it, man. It's like that's it. And it's just it seems quite rough. How does the actual machine mechanics work when you use it? Obviously, I've seen the videos of you spinning it, but yeah, in like simple terms, how does it work?
Yeah, so it's a front-loaded washing machine similar to the washing machines that we have in the UK.
Yeah.
It's 5 kg capacity. It's prime candle, so you sit down in parallel to it, and then you kind of use a kind of hand circular motion on a handle, and it's geared so it not only washes your clothes but dries it as well. It's running at about 500 RPM. So that's in essence what it does and how it works. But you know, in 10 years' time, we'll be looking back at this conversation that we're having, and you know, we'll be laughing at the time we just made washing machines, manual washing machines. There'll be a whole range of products.
Yeah.
We actually called the washing machine the Divya washing machine, and it's called the Divya manual washing machine. But you know, there'll be Divya laundrettes, Divya semi-automatic, Divya automatics around the world.
Good.
This time.
Big vision, man.
And you
Big
said
vision.
you saw this via like a salad mixer, in it. So you saw this like mixer in the corner. You thought, let's just mimic that, and then it just works.
Yeah, I think you know, it would be naive to think that you know, other people haven't done what you're working on. I think one of the best pieces of advice that I got was, you know, Google your idea.
Yeah.
Because there's probably someone that's done it.
It's probably someone else has tried to do it. It doesn't mean they've done it well. They've probably done it, but it doesn't mean they've done it well.
Yeah. The other piece of advice is, you know, fall in love with the problem, because the solution will always change. And you know, I love that, because that gets us through the really dark times. You know?
I like that. Fall in love with the problem.
That's good. That does keep you grounded as well, doesn't it? You have to, yeah. I guess because it's very tempting to be solution oriented. And we hypothesize a lot of things, but it doesn't mean they're going to work until you actually test it.
Yeah, exactly. Jugaad, right? As the
Jugaad, man. That's the perfect Punjabi word, isn't it? When I think of the word jugaad, it's just like it's not a straight line. It's never a straight line. You just got to work this shit out, man.
What does that mean in English?
It's a hard work. It's hard word. It's jugaad. It's like techers.
It needs problem solving with limited resources.
Yeah, like desi jugaad in it. That's what you'd say in it. Like you just get it done somehow. It's like that kind of vibe. Yeah.
Through some kind of issue of some sort, for sure.
But like you got to have the know-how. There's like skill involved. Do you know what I mean? You, like the chips are against you, but you still come out on top. Like jugaad kar diya si.
Yeah, but also being very honest and saying, yeah, and but also being very honest and saying, you know, you know, saying that, you know, these are my skill sets. Who do I need on board to help you and push you on the way? And I think it's just you can't do it on your own. And we're not on our own, and have some amazing people that are helping us on our journey.
Is a lot of it volunteer work, with people just reaching out to you saying they want to help? Obviously, you've got a GoFundMe page going, so people are saying they can fund and help other people get washing machines sent to people that need it. Is a lot of it just organic and just the kindness in people's hearts?
Yeah, at the start, for sure. I mean, we've benefited from 20,000 hours of pro bono support from 175 volunteers in 9 countries now. So amazing supports. And now I have a small team, and that's
Nice.
growing. And we have really cool corporate partners now. Electric Components, which is a FTSE 100 company, is supporting us with £1 million over 3 years and
Wow.
7,500 washing machines in the country. So it's amazing what you can do from a blank canvas, and where you can take your idea if you have the right people, the right mission statement, and the right minds on the project.
Did you ever see it going in this direction when you first started it, or did it just become something that just took a life of its own? Because I'm assuming you did this the same time as your masters, which is obviously a lot to juggle at once, trying to solve this problem and do a masters at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I ran a marathon that year as well.
Oh, just add that on
Just
top
add
as
to
well,
that.
man. Yeah.
I ran the
Why
marathon by
not, man?
holding the washing machine on my
On the
shoulders.
top of my head. That's it. Easy,
That's
easy work.
Jigar.
And I was working full time at JLR. So
There you go.
Jesus, man.
I honestly believe, like, if you want to make something happen, you will, one way, shape, or form. And I think we've been quite lucky. Right place, right time, and we will be more lucky in the future. And there'll be hard times. And it's just a real balancing act, as to what's best for the washing machine project at any given moment.
And so do you see it now? Obviously, we talked about, you said like in 10 years' time, there'll be more products. Are you talking other problems you solve, or other washing machine related, that kind of laundry problem, or other problems with different products?
Yeah, I'll give you an example. So I have just come back from Lebanon. I was there for 6 weeks, and Lebanon is going through a multitude of crises. So whether it's energy, fuel, there's a political vacuum, food shortage, there's a revolution going on.
Really bad inflation as well, isn't there? The money situation.
Yeah. It's 20x on. So there's huge inflation. 25% of children are out of education, have been over the last year, and so as an engineer, this kind of problem-solving mindset kicks in. When I was in India, I saw so many problems, and when you're in Lebanon, 3 million Lebanese are refugees in the last 10 years. They've come over the border from Syria, and there's this valley called the Bekaa Valley, and you have loads of informal tented settlement. You can imagine like having everything and then losing it all overnight because of the political situation. You have no affiliation with it, and then moving across to another country where you're not welcome, and they hate you, and you have to live on a farmer's land in a tent, and 10 years later you're still in that condition. You're not allowed to work because the government don't allow you to, and you have an average size of 6 children. Where do you go? What do you do? And over this winter, it's been really, really bad. It's been -7, -8 degrees, snowstorms, no insulation, no heating. And for me, as an engineer, as someone that's very purpose-driven and wanting to become the Dyson of the humanitarian world, I see this as a golden opportunity for us to create more products, whether it's in air conditioning, lighting, refrigeration.
Yeah, of course, man.
Heating, yeah.
It must be heartbreaking to like see all that stuff firsthand and think that you're kind of helpless in order to help them in anything else except for just a washing machine that you can give. So obviously, naturally, you're going to sit there and think, what else can I branch out into to help these guys?
Yeah, this is one of the questions I get a lot. Is how do you feel? I think I have no right to feel sorry for anyone, especially them. They have so much pride, and they don't want anything free. They don't want handouts. They
Yeah.
want opportunity. They want
Good.
jobs. They want to go back home in some instances. And it's our job as the Washing Machine Project and as humanity to help them on this journey and make it easier for them, because it could happen to us one day. And it's happening right now in Ukraine.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Especially with the way the whole conflict's going, because it's a first world problem. We're getting traction on it, but stuff like this has happened globally that we're just not aware of. I mean, when was the last time anyone heard anything about the things that had happened in Afghanistan after everyone left? That's just disappeared. It's not in the news cycle. Doesn't mean it's not happening.
Or Lebanon. I know about Lebanon because I have a friend who's got family there, and he tells me how bad it is.
Yeah.
But other than that, you just live in your bubble, don't you? Whatever BBC News tells you. I mean, what we talk about is the Partygate, man. That's all that dominates the news here, man.
They had a party. People don't have homes, and they've been uprooted for 10 years. Big difference, isn't it? Big difference. Yeah.
Jez, I'm not surprised that your Lebanese friend complains about the conditions or tells them, because they're quintessentially always talking about the problems of.
They are. I mean, his family, I think it got to the point, I think, in the recent, let's say 1 year, I think there was a big accident, wasn't there? A big thing that went off, a big explosion thing. There was a bomb, wasn't it? Right. And his family was okay. But after that, they've all moved to France now. They're not there anymore.
There's a massive brain drain. Getting up and moving.
They're just
leaving, Indy spoke about this in Afghanistan, and 1 year on nearly, and you just don't hear about it.
So if it's in your news cycle or on your radar, Nav, I did need to ask, how did the pandemic affect your project and ideas you have for expansion? Because I assume pre-pandemic you were able to go country to country. Obviously, it sounds like now you're able to, but for like that 1.5 year span, how difficult was that to sort of break into and to sort of get around issues without having that loop of constant feedback, like how you've mentioned when you went to India?
Yeah, it's actually a really good point. And all of this growth that you've seen has actually happened in the last 1.5 to 2 years.
Wow.
So, we're only kind of 3.5 years old. And before the pandemic, we would fly out to countries and we would do surveys. But actually, we don't need to do that anymore. And I think in the humanitarian space, this kind of localized agenda has occurred where, you can empower local people to do research, to do distributions, to make the machines, which is actually really important. So, I mean, mentally, it's obviously been quite tough and everyone's been working from home, but in terms of our work, we've pivoted a little bit to engage with local agencies and grassroots organizations that conduct our research, conduct our distributions, and going forwards, I think that we're going to do that. The governments have cut funding, ironic in water, sanitation, and hygiene, which is really strange because I think we need to be more hygienic than ever.
Yeah.
As a humanity.
Why would they cut funding in that?
I think the overall agenda, so the Department for International Development has been dissolved into the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, and the overseas budget for aid has been cut in terms of the percentage. So various things have been cut. So, but I don't know about you guys, but COVID has really taught me that we're mortal and everything is very temporary.
Pretty much, yeah.
And giving is still there. And so then the support has been amazing.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one thing. COVID, because it affected everyone equally in the sense that it was just, it was a true pandemic. Everyone was equalized. Everyone had to stay at home. Everyone was now like, okay, look, let's forget all our jatabandi. Let's forget all our kind of differences. Now let's actually band together. And even from like a very local level, like in hospitals now, we had we, we had medical students who were basically upgraded to doctors. Okay, they were like literally the people were coming in, and I was there with my stethoscope, knighting them. I was like, right, you're a doctor now. That's it. Tu seva kar, huh? And then we had like consultants who'd not practiced in like 20 years. We were calling them back. And it was really funny. I often talk about this because I had left medicine. I came back after 9 months. And I was in the middle of leading this team of old consultants who either hadn't practiced for a long time or were in a different, like so specialized, but obviously the need was to see COVID patients. So they would pull back into general medicine rather than like, doing skin or whatever specialty they were doing. Then you had the young guys. And I had to lead this team where these guys were wanting to learn stuff, but the consultants, they wanted to learn as well. So I'm like, oh my God, I haven't done medicine for 9 months. So I'm like a bit like rusty as well. And then you want me to lead these two sets of people who are both excited for different reasons. It was such a odd time. But in reflection now, the morale now was just so high, man. Like, and what it did show us is, there was a one point where, the world truly was scared and they weren't coming to hospital. Like the people that don't need to be in hospital weren't coming. And outside of the COVID population we were treating, the other people, they're obviously still sick people coming in, the ratio of our staff, NHS, to the patients was excellent. For the first time in 10 years of being a doctor, I was like, this is what it should be like. We would be able to give proper care. Yeah, no, more than equal. And it was real-time medicine, man. Like when you're stretched, it's very hard. You do a little bit for each patient and you just keep running around. But and the only other time we see it is like near Christmas because people don't come to hospital. So 23rd of December this year, I remember I was in A&E. I was doing like some advising, and it was me, a GP, a bone doctor, and another specialist. And it was brilliant that we had only had 3-4 patients to see in this kind of like 4 hours. That was everybody who came through A&E. That's nobody came in basically. But the patient that came in, the quality of care they got, we were like, we have an opinion from the GP, we have an opinion from this person, opinion from this person, went bang, 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 bang. And I was like, this is what medicine should be, man. And last week, on a podcast saying Sajid Javid came to a hospital, the health secretary, and he saw how busy it was. And his comment was obviously, you need more staff. I was like, we do, man. Like there's too many people. Like we want to help people to the highest level. And by our very nature, we want to be very integritous with the way and how we help, rather than just doing a little bit and putting a bandage on and then getting rid of them, sort of metaphorically speaking. So I agree with you there. The pandemic was just showed us differences aren't important, and we just need to. There is something in working together. Number one, like you said, because you can scale and you can solve bigger problems by working together. And then when you do truly help, then the feeling you get on the back of that, there's nothing that compares to it. There's nothing that compares to that. I'm sure that's what you feel when you help people.
Yeah, it's you get it's a higher purpose, right? You're working for something that's beyond you, and that's why I'm so glad that Dyson gave me my big break by not accepting me back, because I would have still. I would have still probably been working there, making vacuums.
Yeah, and you still would have been innovating. You would have been in cool things, but it's the impact, like you said, isn't it? Where do you want to have the impact? And it was that catalyst for you, isn't it, to actually push you into that kind of where am I now? And you had to obviously grow, but you did, and that's the rest is obviously history.
And maybe that was because of this kind of early death that I had in the family, and the idea that life is very temporary and you only have a very short amount of years in your life to make real impact, and just kind of bit the bullet and just did it. And but it's really hard. I speak to people every single day that are so fed up in their jobs, but for one reason or another,
they don't want to take the leap to change or anything, man.
No, but you get that because stability. This is a really important word. So outside of
but there's also a sense of satisfaction in complaining as well and not changing anything.
No, there is that. But stability is very important, right? So then outside of this now, I do coaching for people, life coaching, and a very common core value across a lot of people is a sense of stability. So people who go self-employed have to earn income, have to do all these other things and be entrepreneurial. Look, it's good to do if it works. But if not, then people think, and I say to a lot of people, because I've been through that journey myself, is if you're thinking that you're gonna, leave your job and then go all in and it's just gonna happen, look, it might, but it's tough, man. It's really tough.
Risky as fuck, man. I would not recommend it.
Either the advice I give people is either, if you're with somebody and you have a, a partner or a wife, whatever, or husband, then one of you maybe try it as long as the other one can cover stuff. Or if you're going to do it yourself, then you need this area of bridging, man. You need to be like,
well, obviously you need to tell your partner. You can't just leap into it. Be like, not listen, love, I quit my job today. What are you saying? Right?
Not the telling, but the planning. Like, okay, you're going to cover the bills. I'm going to try this thing. That's what I meant. Be more tactical about it.
Yeah, that's right.
But if you can do it yourself, you got a bridge, man. Like I always say, don't go from 0 to 100. If you're 5 days a week, go to 4 days a week, go to 3 days a week. Try things. You have to get some exposure. I think this is the thing that people fear the most. It's trying new things, getting feedback because they don't like, growth. But the best thing about doing new things is you get instant feedback, and failure is the best feedback because it's just instant. Yeah. I always say this example at work now. I say, I said to young doctors, if you do something really well at work, nobody's going to tell you you've done a good job. They may say you've done a good job and they may give you a pat on the back, but they're never going to say to you, this is why it's good, ever. You do something shit at work, they'll tell you you're shit immediately. And then they'll say, this is why you're shit. There is so much feedback, so much specific feedback. And I said, but you need to start valuing that. You need to see that in the right context because it just sharpens you so quickly. And and it is all about creatively problem solving. There are problems everywhere, and when I look at my problems at work now locally, it's like everyone else just seems to ignore it. And I watch people, and I'm like, you complain like Indy, they complain about the same shit. They don't want to do anything about it though, and it's just like, well, why in it? Like, why not look at this and be like, what small micro, what's the slight edge principle we can use here? What's the 1% we can improve on? And then we can compound on that and build it.
It's genuinely, here's the thing, right? It takes a brave person to change the status quo and not complain and actually try and implement some change. Because you can just go ahead with it and say, oh, that's a shame, and then move on, or just go with what everybody else is saying and just fall in place. But if you stick out and do something different, that requires bravery, effort, time, and seeing it through as well. Is like, oh shit, I've said this, I have to see it through now. There is a bit of fear associated to it. So it's not as simple as just like, I'm just complaining for the sake of complaining. There's like deeper meaning behind why people actually complain.
I think also I would concur with all of that. And it's if you have an idea and you're scared of living
implementing,
don't like. I like the idea of hybrid, like working. It's really important. I mean, if you have a stable job and you want to try it on the side, don't quit your stable job to go all guns blazing. There is this kind of undercurrent on the internet, which is like hustle.
Yeah, man. You need to be a serial entrepreneur, multiple businesses. The thing for our generation is passive income generation, man. Sit on an island, better coming in from cryptocurrencies. All bullshit, man. It's all bullshit. And the thing is, even if you had that, this is what I challenge my clients with. It's like, look, but you can't work for another day in your life. After 7 days, you blow your brains out because there's no mental stimulation. This is what we need. This the thing that preserves this thing long term, that gives you purpose, that gives your life meaning, is that, man. There has to be mental stimulation. And the thing, now when it really hit me, is, there's a movement in the UK. I don't know if, actually, it's not just the UK, across the world. It's called the FIRE movement. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's an acronym. It stands for Financially Independent, Retire Early. And there's a lot of people around the world who retire at like 35. And you go on YouTube and you can see the videos and like them going shopping and things. And a couple of years ago, I had this mindset of, okay, by 35, I'm 31 now, 35, I'm going to be out the game, passive income, just going to, do all the things I want to do, enjoy. And then I started to go towards that kind of life. I reduced my, medical, and I completely left the medicine, like I said. And there's still this void, man. I was like, this is supposed to be the end game, man. I was like, I'm supposed to be here now. Like, why am I not happy? And I knew acutely I wasn't happy. I didn't know why at that point, though. And then I kept exploring it, and I was like, it's because this is not going to give me purpose and function. I looked at people like Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, Richard Branson. I was like, these guys have more money than they'll ever need. Why do they keep doing what they're doing? Why do they keep innovating? Why? I was like, because they love the game. I was like, that's the answer, man. The game is everything. You can't.
Yeah, and also they love money, Karan. Let's not get twisted.
No.
They just love money.
No, they don't love money because they have more money now than they'll ever need. They cannot work the rest of their life. They don't need it. There's nothing that they can't buy. Indeed, they're already beyond that. They can go to space and do whatever they want to do. They love the game. The game is what they love, man.
They fall in love with the problem.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. That's got to be the two things I'm taking away from this podcast: are jigar, and you got to love the problem, man.
Yeah,
right?
I love the problem.
That's got to be the quotes. And now I was just come back to touch upon your earlier things. You said life must have a what did you say? Life must have a higher purpose. And there's something else you said as well. It gives it reason. What did you say? I was going to ask you.
Do you want to have a think?
No, I've got it. Why do you think, in your opinion, why is it important to have higher purpose?
Because I can only talk about it from a personal point of view.
Yeah,
I've been there where I've been in a corporate job, and I have woken up every single day and gone to that job, and what are you working towards? What is the end goal, right? And
pension.
Quite often enough, it's your life is set, right? So if your typical life would be, you go to school, you get your A levels, you get a degree, then you get a job, and you get married, and then you have kids, and then grandkids, and then you die. That's your
the blueprint.
life.
The blueprint of life. Yeah.
And if you're from a South Asian family, that's
Standard.
probably how you do it. And for me, I'm so glad that I realized very early on into my career, 3 or 4 years into my career, that this is the path that I don't want to go down by. This doesn't fit in me, and I want to help people. I want, with the space that I have, I'll probably have 40 good years in my life. I want to help as many people as I can. I want to touch lives as many people as I can, and so that when the time comes and I look back on this life, and I want to see how I've left the world, in a better place than I found it. And that's what I learned in Scouts. Leave
from the age of.
The age of 7.
Wow,
8 years old.
Man. That's stuck
People
with you,
say
isn't it?
this stuff
Stuck
and
with you.
never mean it, but you're actually living it and meaning it.
But it's still resonating with you, isn't it? It's still powerful to this day. That what you learned to say.
Every single day, like how can you touch the lives of people every single day, and how can you make them happier? How can you leave this world? If tomorrow doesn't come, and you look back at the day and your life, what are you most proud of? And for me, it's creating something that's going to live beyond me and live beyond all of us, and an organization that will help millions of people live across the world.
Good. Nav, my last question for you is, how was it being approached by the Russell Howard Hour to obviously make this little snippet that they did for you that's obviously sent you like upper level organically to be recognized and stuff? How was that? How did that opportunity come about? And what was it like filming with them? Oh, I think he's potentially disappeared.
Very good thumbnail, though.
It's a very good thumbnail. Smoldering, man.
From this angle, it now kind of looks a little bit like Yuvraj Singh with the podcast.
Ooh, I like that. That's a nice, that's a nice concept going. Yeah, for sure. This is delightful. I had a really good question as well.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
Oh, there we go.
There he is.
All right, can you hear me?
I was like, okay, I'm going. Yeah.
You're like, that's it, it's done now. I don't want to answer this question.
I was in Lebanon for 6 weeks, and I had 2 MB internet, and here I have like 40 MB internet. Today, my internet cut out and I'm hotspotting my phone.
Wow.
And I feel like I'm in Lebanon because
you feel like you're in Lebanon again, yeah?
Because internet's atrocious. But again, it makes you appreciate things. It hits at home. Right?
Did you catch the question I asked now, or do you need me to say it again?
Russell Howard, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we've been featured in over 200 news outlets around the world now. So it's been insane, like the coverage and the traction that this has received. The story of Divya. There's some really cool things happening in the pipeline. Mainstream channels, doing some documentaries and stuff. But every news article is very humbling. Every viral post, every share, every kind of donation is just, man, I feel so blessed. I'm so privileged that people have trusted us to carry out this mission. We've had over 1,300 donations from all walks of life around the world, and
Wow.
increases and getting people like Russell Howard to feature us is just, it's beyond our wildest imagination.
How did that project? How did they find you guys, and how did they approach you? How did that whole process come about?
So this question's asked all the time, especially with kind of new entrepreneurs that want to get a lot of traction and national news and stuff. And honestly, for us, it's been completely organic. We've not spent one penny on marketing.
Yeah.
They reach out to us through social media.
Yeah.
And 3 years ago, we got covered in a couple of news outlets, and that's just snowballs.
I see. Yeah.
And you often keep in close contact with these reporters, and then you update them when you have an update.
So they can run like a second piece or something. Yeah.
Second or third pieces, and you get invited back into things, and then it just grows and grows and grows. Our aims are to go into like Good Morning Britain or BBC Breakfast.
Yeah, that'd be great, man.
Or the Ellen DeGeneres Show, Oprah.
Yeah. There we go. Once again.
Yeah.
But we'll get there eventually one day.
Of course you will, man. You got an ambition. I'm sure you'll get it.
They'll come. But ultimately, the main goal and the main aim for this is to get more and more coverage, to get more and more eyes onto the overall mission, and to not forget people like Divya and the struggles of Divya, because it happens all so often.
It is. Karan, you got any other questions?
No, I'm in a good place, man. I'm thinking about problems now as well. I'm thinking down the line, man. When you're on your missions and you see medical issues, right? You write those down for me, and then I'll think about what the simple things we can do, man. A lot of simple things we can do. Here we think about all the niche, things like managing like blood pressure to like millimeters of mercury and things. But for, again, third world countries, there are simple interventions we can do, which will have massive impacts. So yeah, maybe down the line we'll collaborate a little bit. Use your engineering brain.
I'm sure we'll.
Keep us in mind. Thanks for joining us, Nav. I appreciate it. And we will see you soon. People, if you made it this far, please give us a shout. Please give us a like and drop us a message and let us know your thoughts on the podcast. Please share this with anybody that you think will take value from it or who wants to hear about the deeper meaning behind the washing machine project. You've definitely seen the clips. You've definitely heard about it now. So let us know your thoughts. We'll see you on the other side. Cheers, guys.